Hey, we're the leaf cutters, here to lend a hand for novice cigar smokers with tips so grand. Not pros, but we'll guide you right in our porch cigar lounge, light up the night. Reach out, chat along, smoke with us where you belong. So grab a cigar, come on and stay. In our back porch lounge, we'll show you the way. The leaf cutters, together we'll ignite. With tips and tricks, we'll light up your night.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Back Porch Lounge. We are the Leaf Cutters, and we are not professionals, but we are here to help. And today's episode, we do have a special guest. It's Steven Sawtelle. I hope I pronounced that right.
You did.
If I didn't,
you did.
Awesome! Finally, and if I didn't pronounce it correctly, that's fine because you're in your damn car and you're supposed to be on your back porch. You son of a bitch, doing this show. So.
It feels so good.
Steven was smart and got in his car, and so I can't blame him for that. It is scorching out here for both us and here in Georgia and Louisiana. So good on you for that, but that's the only props I'm going to give you. Today we are doing another... No, go ahead, Andy.
No, I was just hoping the windows are all rolled up and the air conditioner's not on.
Yes, hotbox yourself. I hope you pass out, you son of a beat.
Yeah, that was the goal.
Nice. But today we have another wonderful penny cigar. It is the Drew Estates Herrera Esteli Norteño. Is that how you pronounce it? Norteño? Or Norteño?
Sure.
It's got the hyphen over the end, so I'm assuming it's like whatever. But by Drew Estates, this is I think this is a Lonsdale.
It is.
The wrapper is Maduro, and then
San Andreas.
Well, yeah. Well, you're right. This is the San Andreas, and it's got a Nicaraguan filler. I've heard really good things about this cigar. So thank you, Penny, for supplying us with these, because I've never had one and I want to try one. So this is the perfect time to do so. And Robert, do you have a question for us today?
Actually, it's a play off of the question I had for y'all yesterday. So, the humidor, when I put some books on it, still didn't go up. And then, so Andy was saying something about calibrating the... Yes, you.
No, it was me, but that's okay.
Zach.
Andy can have credit. He probably told me about it earlier.
Well, one of you said something about calibrating the little thing, temperature gauge or something. How do you do that?
Hydrometer.
Yeah.
So, Gibbs, do you have an answer for that, or do you want me to just start talking?
Yeah, I do kind of have an answer for that. The best way to do it is probably, or the easiest way to do it, is probably to put it in either a plastic bag or a vacuum sealed Tupperware, like a Tupperware or something like that. Put it in there with a Movita pack with something like that actually says what it is, 69%, 70%, whatever, and stick it in there for probably about a week, and it'll calibrate itself to whatever that is, and then you know that it's actually working as it's supposed to, and then you can put it back into your humidor to actually give you the right humidification inside that.
I've got an add-on to that. What the hydrometer on my wooden humidor is analog, and it's got some sort of material that changes the needle. On the back is like a slit, and you can stick a flathead screwdriver in there, and you can adjust it to what it's supposed to be. So if it's supposed to be 69% and it says 73 or whatever, you can adjust it to that humidification, and then you are dialing it into the actual humidification.
Okay. And now a follow-up question to that. because I had said it in the text that Steven didn't get to read and no one else did but y'all. But it is in my office upstairs at my house. The air conditioner doesn't run very cool because very rarely up there. Should I move it into a different room that's cooler than the room it's in? There's no sunlight in the room.
I have an opinion about this.
Okay.
I think you should build a new house around your humidor so that it's in a central room that is the most temperature controlled.
I can do that.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
We call it the cigar vault.
Right. I mean, it's basically you make the humidor room. It's
Right.
amazing. I mean,
Well, I was gonna have to get you're gonna have to get matches there, dude.
He's gonna break out the sticks and rub them together.
Dude, I'm having like difficulties on this one early, man. Give me a second. Not the Norteño, by the way. I was unable to find it, unfortunately, and so I apologize for that. I found an Oliva V Melanio Maduro, but it's pretty tight early right now. So give me just a second as I keep working my way on this one.
Beat the shit out of it, man.
That's what I'm gonna do.
That's a pretty good cigar.
Robert, all that wind in that car. That's the problem.
Dude, the wind factor is crazy in here.
Robert, mine sits on my nightstand where the temperature's consistently in the mid 70s. And it's funny because as the light, I have a lamp on my nightstand that sits right next to my humidor, and as the lamp comes on, you can watch the temperature rise and watch it fall in the evening, as well as the heat coming into the house. So, to answer that question, you're gonna want to put it somewhere that the temperature doesn't fluctuate by more than a few degrees.
Okay.
Humidity should remain consistent on the inside. If it doesn't, I'm not a big fan of the old school analog hydrometers because fuck that. I got enough digital shit in my house. I might as well be able to use it. So I bought a Govee. I think it's a Govee.
Yeah, I've got the same one, I think.
Yeah.
Analog, digital, and tossed it in there, and it connects to my Wi-Fi, and I can look at it whenever.
Oh, you got the extra fancy. Mine's only Bluetooth.
Yeah.
So
I gave Gibbs the Bluetooth.
Yeah. So I hope that answers your question, Robert.
It actually does, and I've got some good ideas now what to do.
So
Thanks,
where are
guys.
you gonna build your new house?
Right on top of the old one. I'm just going to burn that.
See, now it has. Now you can't make it look like an accident, Robert. You set it on a button.
Yeah.
Ah, shit.
Gibbs will fix it in post. It'll just be up.
Gibbs, fix that,
I'll edit it all out. Don't worry about it, buddy. I got you.
Nobody checked Robert's Google searches on how to cover up fire fraud.
So going back to the Norteño here. First smoke on it is it's pretty good. I'm liking it. Not a heavy smoke by any means. It's kind of one of those that reminds me of the bad guy smoking the cigar in the old Western,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this smoking down a little bit so I can feel like Clint Eastwood.
I know, seriously.
Yeah.
But I actually like the feel of it. It's kind of light, and I definitely like the taste of it. I'm having a little construction issues, and I'm not sure if that's a cigar or just the way I cut it because I did do a V cut on it. But it probably was the V cut that caused it. But I'm not going to knock it off any for that because it is burning pretty good. And so far, it's a tasty cigar. I can't wait to look into the rest of it. How about you, Andy?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that. It doesn't have a heavy smoke to it, but it's got a great. So far, this one's had a really good draw, and it's starting off pretty well.
Roberto?
Okay, well, at first, the first look at it, I was instantly reminded of, remember those flutes you got in school that you...
Oh, it's a recorder, yeah.
Yeah, recorders.
The first thing it reminded me of, I was like, wow, that's reminiscent of. But then I looked at the label, and I don't know if you can see the dove and the greenery, and I fully expected to taste cardamom in this.
So
But
early.
I didn't.
So early.
So early.
But I didn't, and I'm kind of shocked at that.
Gibbs, don't shake your head, man. No,
Steven?
listen, I wish. Listen, wow, I've never seen someone pawn off something before where you're like, Steven, do you have anything to throw out here right now?
Can you overwrite whatever Robert just said, please?
Oh, that's amazing. I will say this. I did smoke one of those about a month and a half ago, and I remember it being seriously, one of the most delicious just medium-bodied smokes. It doesn't overpower, and the flavor is complex enough to keep you interested throughout. It was never one-dimensional at all. It was really good. And anytime I've ever smoked it as well, I've never had a construction issue at all, ever. I'm talking in terms of the burn, in terms of having to do any touch-ups, anything like that. Like, it's one of those that you can just light it, forget it, you get good flavor out of it, and you know what to expect out of it every single time.
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, I blame my construction issue pretty much on the cut. I probably shouldn't have cut it like that, but it is what it is. How about you, Zach?
I have an actual burn issue, but not a construction issue. It's just a little lopsided. I'll probably touch up here in a minute. But that could have just been my light. You know, you never know what if you get it perfect or not. It may go down one side a little bit. It's a little off, but it tastes pretty fantastic so far. Get a little bit of spice in there.
It's the air conditioning.
It could be the fan, actually.
It could be burning your cigar funky like that. That can happen.
Yeah.
But I like it so far.
Yeah. So, go ahead, Andy.
Nah, I was gonna say, do I have to introduce the Steven guy that I ran into?
Yeah, I was going to say, give us a little bit of background on Steven.
Oh, boy.
Man. Oh shit.
Andy, give a background, but don't give a background.
Yeah. We met on this thing called the Internet. 20.
J-Date?
Probably. Yeah, probably. God, what? 2010?
I actually, I think exactly what it was. It was 2010. Yep.
Yeah. And in a group of cigar guys that we all got tossed into a group message together at one point.
C-Date.
Yeah, that too. We were all it was wonderful. But yeah, that's how we met. We texted back and forth and been in the same group for 14 fucking years.
14 going on 15, which is crazy. Yeah.
Yep. He somewhere along the lines acquired the nickname of Plywood, and that's probably because of the kiddie pool and the fact that he's skinny as a fucking rail. He's a fellow Atlantean. So
you're from Atlanta.
Proud. Anything having to do with Atlanta, man, that's the one thing that Andy and I specifically are very prideful about is Atlanta. Anything having to do with Atlanta, man. If it's April 4th, we're shooting each other happy 404 day. You do that when you're in Atlanta, because that's the area code. But yeah, so we're always complaining about the Braves or something.
Falcons, Braves.
I just want to put out there, I've lived in Georgia all my entire life. I've never seen anybody happy 404 day. Ever.
Well, I'm going to start doing it to you too.
Shit.
But listen, you're in now, Gibbs. You're going to equally be happy about the 404 situation. We basically, you know what the thing is too about people who are from Atlanta? People on the outside, they think that all we do is like listen to Outkast and like shoot people and stuff, and that's just not all we do. You know what I'm saying? We don't just
everything we do.
That's not everything we do. I mean,
You also sit in traffic most of your life.
We also sit in traffic.
It's an important thing
road
for-
rage, anyone? Road rage? Yeah, there's a lot of things that we like to partake in that's not just, the standard of what everyone thinks. You know what I'm saying?
We all drink
absolutely.
Coke and eat Waffle House.
Yes. And if you're going to the Waffle House anytime before 3 a.m., then you're just not doing it right.
You're not doing it right. And you must be inebriated, at least to some level.
I have a additional caveat for the Waffle House. If you have not slept the night before and it is daylight again, it is okay to eat Waffle House.
Yes.
That's
And
fair.
actually, it's especially okay. Oh, yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
fair.
Super lit.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
But
Because
going
you're
back
still
to
super
the,
drunk.
I've never texted anybody 404. I'm 770. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's still older than some of these newer area codes, man, that have popped up. I've seen a couple call. My friends have called, and I'm like, who the hell is this? And it's some area code. I'm like, I've never seen this area code in my life. Are they just starting to pop up left and right, or what?
6-1.
know,
Let's
right?
see.
Especially-
678.
678.
404
What's
770.
678. What's the other one?
Oh, it's weird. I totally forgot what it was. It's oddball, though.
To the interwebs.
We must research.
We
Must tell people the area codes around Georgia so they must know.
I love this super.
470.
470, that's what it is. Yeah, and I remember I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell is that all about? Come on now.
So
We're better
I think
than
Social
that.
Circle has that one. And nobody
I
cares
can
about
tell you
anybody
some
in
stories
Social
about
Circle.
Social Circle. I can tell you stories about that place. What I won't, because that's not this podcast. So that's how plywood is now addressed. Oh, I'm sorry, Steven is.
No, you can say plywood. That's totally fine.
Plywood sticks, man. Yeah.
Yeah, listen, it sticks. It's easy. Listen, man. You can absolutely call me plywood. Any of you guys, man. Call me whatever. You guys were kind enough to invite me on the show. You guys can call me whatever you'd like.
Except for late.
All right. And in case anybody's wondering, no, Grim has not been replaced by Steven. Grim couldn't make it to this episode, unfortunately, but we wish him well. That son of a bitch, and go fuck yourself, buddy.
Yep.
Damn.
Mhm.
We now have new hire. We have new talent.
Yep, pretty much. This is Steven's tryout. So do good, buddy.
Well, it looks like his video froze from where I'm at, so
And his video for us. Actually, it's the Wrath of Grim.
it's the right
Since
Grim is reaching from him.
It's already kicked him off the show. Oh my god!
He was having some phone issues earlier, so maybe
He was having phone issues. His phone is overheating. So
yeah,
If he'd smoked somewhere other than in the car.
right.
I don't understand if he's in an air-conditioned car. How is it overheating?
I don't know.
It's
I
an
tried
iPhone
to do,
6.
I tried to do the
It was like-
Riverside on a phone before, and it overheated in the shade.
Is
Yeah.
he like doing it from a Nokia? What the hell?
They didn't have cameras. They didn't have cameras on those, did they? No. No cameras.
The later ones did. Yeah,
Later ones, yeah.
the later ones did. We'll give him a minute to get back.
He's running in the house and sticking his phone in the fridge.
Yeah, he's gonna be doing the show from his fridge, open door. Setting it up, propping against the peas.
Told him he had to
I
put
mean,
his
you could
smoking-
use
smoke
the
meats.
peas as a
Right.
phone rest, and it would also be a heat sink. So it's probably
Yeah.
There you go. Frozen peas would work. Yeah.
And then he could cook himself some peas too while he's at it,
right.
and then have dinner by the time the show's over.
I mean, I love some peas. That's a great idea.
You overheat there? Did you get all excited, Plywood?
I got really excited. Yeah, it's just.
He's not back yet.
I'm telling you, that was. Yeah, if I just go missing, just know that I got a little too hot,
In your air-conditioned car.
in my air-conditioned car. Yeah, there's no excuse. Listen, I'm equally as. Gibbs, shut up.
Maybe you need to put like the phone in front of the vent so it cools the phone.
Well, you know what's crazy? It's literally aimed at it right now. That's the thing that I don't understand.
Hey, Plywood, before Gibbs asks another question, tell the group, because I've always been a little jealous. When we met, you were young, still going to, still in grade school.
A wee lad smoking
Something
cigars on
about
the
college.
streets.
Yeah, smoking cigars on on Peachtree Street, and so Plywood has done something that I'm mildly jealous of, and that he's, other than lived his best life, Plywood, you've worked on all the cool things. So, can you tell the kids about the inkwell?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. So back in 2014, 2015, I partnered up with this guy named Rob, who was starting up. He had his own shop, his own cigar shop in New Mexico. He has been working on a lot of different really cool blends and all sorts of things that he was working on he wanted to have his own shop blend. And we were working hand in hand. We were talking for the longest time, trying to figure out, man, I would love to have my own little limited edition line of cigars. And it was funny because this was back when the limited edition thing wasn't truly hitting hard yet, because all of a sudden now so many people are doing it. I thought it was both somewhat clever because I only have the finances to be able to do so much of it, but also because I thought that'd be just a cool thing to do, a little small run. Like, I know I wouldn't be able to afford enough to be able to go to all these shops and everything and then have it be like all over the, lounges all over the United States. But we were working on this blend, and eventually we landed on one that was just, it nailed exactly what I was looking for. It's a medium-bodied cigar. It had this dessert-like final third that was very unique. Andy, if you've smoked, you know exactly what I'm talking. To this day, people will contact me and I've never tasted that in a cigar to this day. The Inkwell is the only one that's ever captured truly a dessert taste. And I'm really proud of that. It was a really cool thing, but it was just fun, man. It was cool. A lot of people kind of missed the mark on what I was aiming for in terms of the what would you say, Andy? The visuals of the cigar. Everyone was so used to.
Yeah.
Everyone was so used to everything being so clean and proper, and the idea behind this was that the Inkwell was an ode to handwritten letters, and I wanted it to be a very personal feel, just like when you write someone a letter or you receive a letter, how special that feeling is, and I wanted people to feel that through the cigar, and that it has its own story. And so every single cigar that went out, I literally cut the band out of parchment paper and I signed it calligraphy S, every one of them that was on the main thing, and that took me a disgusting amount of time, but it was so worth it, and I loved it so. I loved it so much, and it had so much meaning to me. And it was strange how much it got lost in translation. Now the crew totally understood because I talked to you guys about it prior to its release, so you guys knew exactly what the idea was, and you knew when all these reviews were coming out. And luckily, it was positive across the board, really.
Yeah.
And the only thing was they were saying, man, the band looks super amateur, but they didn't realize that that's what I was aiming for. And I hit a point where I was like, I'm not even going to defend this. They missed what I was going for. And maybe that was on me for not explaining it well enough. But it was, for the people that did get it, they really appreciated it. And they thought that was such a cool thing that every one of them was signed. And it was just kind of like a little touch of what I was aiming for, the kind of intimate and kind of like something from me to you,
Well,
it also means that I have.
Because
he did nail it. It also means that I have handwriting examples, so if we need to commit a crime.
he signs his S's just like that. The R's, the A's, the F's, everything else is nothing like it. That S is spot the fuck on.
Spot on. And it was so funny because, I could have easily run through things in the machine and it would be all clean even. And now I can sign it and I'm like, no, I want to cut these. I literally want to make this I did every part of this, and I wanted people to know that I wanted to feel that much more personal. It's not super clean. It's just like a letter, almost like, how it has burnt ends back in the day with parchment paper that's got the flame, on the outside of the corners. That's what I kind of wanted to feel like. And again, it kind of got lost in translation, and I don't blame people for it. I get it, because everything else, especially during that time, especially in 2014, 2015, people were starting to do some intricate cigar bands. People were doing some stuff that was like these embossed layers and stuff, and it was holy crap. So then when they saw this thing come along, they were like, what in the world? But then they were surprised by the taste, and that's what I was really proud of, because people were like, wait a minute, this is really good. Miguel, Andy, in our group, he sent some off to some cigar reviewers that I really admire that really nailed that, and they were like, this is one of the most unique cigars I've ever tasted, literally ever. and they were like, it's totally worth buying a box and just having it put away. And again, yeah. So I still have hand cramps, and that one hand would be writing the S's, but I have no feeling in my left hand. But yeah, it's all good.
I have two. I have two left.
Do you have two left? Do you really?
Yeah, I've sent the oldest child off to grab one out of the humidor because I'm afraid of what happens when when you leave the camera screen.
Oh, are we gonna actually see it potentially? Are we gonna see it?
Yeah.
Unveiling.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. What's crazy? I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it in so long. I really appreciate you bringing that up, though, Andy. That's funny. I can't believe you still have some left. That's pretty cool, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. And now you're doing what? Playing wino? I mean, working at a winery or some crazy shit like that?
Yeah, so I was in Pennsylvania, so I work in the wine industry professionally, and I took a break because what I wanted to do was my parents are starting a commercial farm, and they don't know the first thing about doing all of that, and they're pushing 70 as is, which is like really tough to get into when you're that age. And so they have an amazing piece of land, and they're like, I don't know what we're doing, so that's why I'm in Kentucky right now. I'll probably end up going back into the wine industry. I'm laying everything out. We've been doing all sorts of crop research, and we're working with extension offices on doing stuff and what to sell and what they want to do with farmers markets. And so we have, since I've been here, and I don't know, I've been here for about 6 to 8 months now, we've planted a massive spread of just everything under the sun that you can imagine. I mean, we've been growing hundreds of pounds of potatoes, and we've got hundreds more pounds of tomatoes, and all 18 different varieties, and we're growing 20 different kinds of garlics. Oh my gosh, Andy, you weren't kidding. You actually have one. I don't know where I don't see it fully, but I can see. Oh my gosh, man, you're not joking. You have it. There it is in the flesh. Does this still look good?
Yeah, it still looks good. It still feels good. It's aged pretty well.
Man, I am curious because I have not smoked one in a while, and I'm very curious as to how specifically that final third has held up, because that's the thing that everyone always talks about, is that final third is like, initially when we were doing all these blends and test trials, that was the thing that I remember my eyes getting like cartoon style, like, oh my gosh, it was like goofy. I remember being like, oh my gosh, that's it. And I gave him a call. I was like, dude, this one right here, the number 2, because we had like numbers written on different labels for different blends that we were all tweaking and stuff. Man, and I wasn't sure if it was just me, because I feel like I have a decent palate, but I don't know what people pick up and what people don't. Some people pick up things that I wasn't even sure. Then I'm like, that's a good call. That is kind of what that is. So I don't know how it's going to hold up, but man, I'm so excited. Andy, let me know when you end up getting around to that.
I had an excuse to smoke it, but now I have a better excuse. So the next grab bag we do, I'll do it on camera.
Nice.
Oh man, I'm scared. I'm scared a little bit. That's like all these years later, man. I'm still like getting the heebie-jeebies trying to figure out like, oh man, I hope it doesn't let someone down.
Yeah, if we were gonna do a grab bag for this is that's what I was gonna smoke.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That is so cool.
And I will talk shit about it the whole time.
I was just gonna say, that's a nice. That was the most I've ever heard nice things that Andy's ever said to me, and he just hit like the peak meter, and he's like, "All right, that's it, back to normal."
Back to normal.
Yeah, he gives you this nostalgic. Oh, you kept my cigar for all this time, and he's like, you know what? Fuck you.
100%. I could see the meter like Monsters Inc. style. They had those canisters with the scream and it goes up. It was like ding, and like I could see it. And then all of a sudden he was like, "Okay, time to be a dick." Like I get it, Andy. I get it.
I can only do so much.
There's the tipping point. Yeah. Oh. So segueing into something completely different. Interesting things that have happened this week. I went to a cigar event over the weekend, and
swear to God, if you didn't come back with an ashtray, I don't want to hear this story.
I didn't come back with an ashtray, so we can skip the story now. At the event, I felt really bad because the tobacconist that I usually hang out with, I won't name him because he asked me not to. So I'm not saying his name, But a couple of times he's been kind of ghosted by some reps, which really irritates me because the reps that are giving out cigars are, supplying these places with cigars really need to be communicating. They really need to be on their game. They really need to be showing up when they're supposed to be showing up. And this is the second time that it's not the same rep, it's a different rep that happened this time, but you really need to show up. I mean, yes, they might not be a high volume store. They might not be, doing thousands and thousands of dollars selling your stuff, but the people that show up for those events are the ones that smoke your product.
Yeah.
So when you're saying that, hey, you're not big enough for me to show up for, you're also telling the customers, we don't really care about you. So I just wanted to put that out there because when you do promise somebody you're going to be at an event, if you do promise that, you're going to have something for them, show up because the people there are supporting you too, not just the vendor. So just keep that in mind.
100%.
Out there, and I'm doing it the most
Totally.
PC way I know to do it without bashing.
Yeah.
Right.
I gotta know, man.
So that was my thought.
How was
I
the
won't pile
event?
onto that, but that would irritate me.
Other than that, the event turned out really good. My tobacconist, awesome dude. He had some giveaways. Grim actually won some stuff, so I was actually happy to hear about that. So yeah, it turned out really good, despite the fact that the vendor didn't show up. So good on my tobacconist for doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Everybody still had a good time.
To your point, Gibbs, when you don't live up to your word, too, in a small industry that's as intimate as the cigar industry, that sticks out like a sore thumb quickly.
Yep.
And that's just such a disappointing thing to hear because you just don't want that. Like, I mean, man, it's such a tight-knit community between the smokers, between the brick and mortar owners and everything. And it's like, if you can't be at a place when you said that you were at a place, just don't say it at all, man. There's plenty of other people that would show up in that spot. Like, you would have to be there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah. So I'm saying if you promise you're going to be there, be there.
Be there. Yep.
Speaking of brick and mortars, it sounds. I think we were talking before show that we know somebody in common.
Yes.
Her name would be
okay.
Penny.
Yes,
I
Penny.
thought her official title was Badass Penny.
Badass Penny.
Badass Penny. So.
Badass Penny, and you know what? She lives. We all know this. We're preaching to the choir here, but she 100% lives up to that name. She is a badass. One of the sweetest people.
Amen.
Yet she will tell you to go screw off in 2 seconds if she feels the need. She's not going to sugarcoat anything. She's the sweetest person in the world. Well, I it's not. I was just trying to keep things PG a little bit. I didn't want to have to say that word, but
I think for the handful of people that have one of these, I think it might say she might say "fuck off," which is what my bracelet says in Braille, which is available at badasspenny.com.
Hey, there we go. No, Andy, I don't know how long have you known Penny for?
At least as long as I've known you, maybe longer.
Okay.
So she was doing the blog when we met. So 2007, 2008. I'd have to go back and look at where I used to live at that point because it's been a long time. She and we finally met when she came out here. She came out here for a concert at the rodeo. In the early winter, late fall, something like that, Zach? February. Because Gibbs's ass was on a boat. And we actually finally got to meet her. But she has always been super supportive of our podcast, super supportive of what we do. We're super supportive of what she's got going on. And then, this is the opportunity to go, hey, if you haven't, go look up badasspenny.com. Go look up Penny's Public House on all of the socials. Sure. She's building they are building a massive and fucking awesome space for, I want to say for everybody, especially for cigar smokers. You know, she's got a really awesome thing coming along, and I think that it's going to be the place to be in New Hampshire for if you smoke cigars.
Oh yeah,
I want to say
if there's one thing about Penny too, she has incredible vision with things. When I went and we had met for the first time ever, it was actually the whole story of us meeting was kind of ridiculous, but the short of it was I was actually stranded in Littleton, New Hampshire, after a guys trip. We did a fun guys trip in Maidstone, Vermont, just right on this lake. It's basically right across the way in Canada. And my friends had a tea time. I had to get to an Airbnb that was in the middle of nowhere, North Conway. And they dropped me off at an Enterprise to rent a car. The car wasn't ready. I was literally stranded. I was literally drinking margaritas. And I think I made like a social media post like, I'm stuck in Littleton, New Hampshire in the middle of nowhere. And it was just hysterical. And this woman named Yvonne, who used to screen the phone calls for the Cigar Guys radio show out of Atlanta that was on ESPN that I was a part of for years. I did segments on and all this. It was so crazy. She saw it because she happened to take a day off to spend it with her father. And she sees me, she sees the post, she's like, oh my gosh, I can come pick you up. She picks me up, I'm not making this up, goes out of her own way to come pick me up. Then we go to Cigar Shenanigans in North Conway and we hang out with Penny, and Penny's got the drinks flowing, we're all hanging out. First thing and I'm not making this up, first thing I see when I hit the shop was a guy smoking a cigar with no pants on. Zero pants on, just kicking it. Just like, and like nothing was weird to him. Like he was just like, hey, and I was just like, hey, and he's like, you glad you made it, man. And I was just like, who is this? Like, what is going on right now? And he was actually the Northeast rep. It was the Northeast. It was the Northeast rep for AJ Fernandez. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Nick Goss or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's wild, man. He's wild. And he's a lot of fun, but yeah, we were hanging out with Penny, and Penny, she literally ordered pizzas to the place, and her vision on this place was incredible because it was an old Mexican restaurant, and she took it and she divided it into a couple different rooms. As soon as you walk in, down one alleyway is this beautiful bar that's kind of like a hallway, but it's really spacious. And then in the back is just this massive, massive lounge area. And it's like only Penny could have brought that to life. Seriously, there's not a lot of people with that kind of vision to be like, to see a Mexican restaurant in that shape and be like, this would make a killer lounge. And the execution on it was fantastic. So anything that she's a part of is just immaculate always. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you said Nick Goss, right? This
Yeah.
Nick Goss?
That Nick Goss.
Okay, just checking.
And Plywood's phone's on overheating. He'll be back momentarily.
Right?
Yeah, he'll be back momentarily. He's going to go rest his phone on the P's again.
I guess we can do a halfway check because that's where I'm at with the cigar. I don't know about the rest.
Yeah, I'm about to say we need to do a halfway check. We can do that while he's getting his technical
Cooling his device.
Yeah. So for me, the Norteño is, I mean, it's good. It's a good cigar, and it's flavorful, but I can't quite put a flavor profile to it.
Cardamom?
There's no cardamom. Shut the fuck up, Robert.
Oh. Just checking.
But it tastes good. It's not a heavy smoke at all. So it's one of those that if you just want to go out and smoke one, it's perfect for that. It's got a good balance to it where nothing overpowers it. It's just a good smoke all around. So I'm enjoying it. And
Roland. I wish he watched. I wish I knew if he watched this. That would be awesome. I'm gonna pull a Grim. It's really good. It's got a great draw. The construction is still holding up really well. I thought I was gonna have a Zach problem with the burn there for a minute, but that's evened out. So, but still, it's got a really good flavor. You're right. I can't nail down what it is I taste. Part of that might be the Ardbeg that I'm drinking with it.
Some good stuff right there, the Ardbeg.
It's so fucking good.
Ardbeg, if you want to sponsor us, please do.
Please do. We'll talk about the Ardbeg in a minute. But yeah, other than that, it's not something I want to put down. It's a cigar that I want to continue to sit here and smoke at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the crap out of it.
How about you, Roberto?
I like it. It's there was a little uneven burn that I had to touch up, but other than that, it's pretty much consistent there. And I like the way it smokes in and out. It's a very nice cigar. Yeah, I like it.
And Zaki Poo.
I'm definitely digging it. I'm smoking it faster than I intended to because I'm really enjoying it, and I'm a lot farther along than I'd like to be at this point.
Yeah, you are.
but it's a good cigar. The only thing I've really picked up on, and it was kind of strong at the start, was like a little bit of spice, not pepper, not black pepper, but like almost like a Thai chili, almost just a little bit of spice to it, which I really dig. But it's not overpowering, and it's really good. I'm digging it, and I think I was trying to think if I've had it before, and I think I haven't. I think this may be the first time I've had one. And,
Yeah, same here.
Really dig it.
And Steven, how's your Oliva treating you?
Man, it's incredible. The Melanio Maduro is so incredible. The Melanio in general, I tried the very first one I ever smoked was in 2014, and I remember being blown away by it. And I believe that was the year that actually Cigar Aficionado named it the Cigar of the Year, which was crazy because I just happened to smoke it and I just picked it blindly. It actually might have been at Wiseack Cigars in Georgia. And I remember thinking, holy moly, this is a good cigar. And man, it holds up in any situation. It really does. It's just really solid. This really nice cocoa, cedar, slightly leathery and oaky, and just medium body to a T, and just pleasant. Like you can have it with anything. It just flows. It's just one of those go-tos that will never let you down.
Nice.
I definitely agree with that. That's a great cigar.
I don't think I've ever had
That
it.
or the Master Blend 3 are probably my two favorites from Oliva.
Yeah,
I tell you what,
I like that.
if you can get a hold of the Master Blend, those older ones, they are remarkable. The Master Blend 1 is virtually impossible. It might be impossible at this point to get. But Zach, if you like that Master Blend 3, the second Master Blend is out of this world. I put that above the 3 by 2 or 3 times. It's really fantastic. And like you said, those are really good cigars. It's just hard to miss with Oliva. It's hard to miss with Drew Estate. It's just hard to miss with a lot of cigars these days. There's so much good quality cigars and brands out there. We're really lucky that we live in a time where it's not, the cigar realm has shifted so much even since when I started smoking in 2009, I believe. Do you remember, it used to be just the big names. Like, if you were smoking, it was like, the old Camachos, and then you'd have the Padrones that are always relevant, but then the Davidoff, you either had to go really, really top line, or you were just not smoking a quality cigar. Nowadays, that's just not the case. These boutique brands are coming up with stuff that's $6-7 that is just absolutely crushing it. There's no reason to break the bank anymore for a cigar. There's just so much quality everywhere, and the competition is so high. It's awesome.
Totally.
I have to agree with that. Wholeheartedly.
Man, you said that, and I thought about Carlos. Remember the Carlos Terrano cigars?
Oh my gosh, I used to smoke the heck out of those things.
Oh, hell yeah. I think my favorite at the time was the Sun-Grown, but I kind of miss. I actually was talking to somebody the other day. I missed that Carlos Terrano Sun-Grown cigar.
I'll be honest with you, Andy. There's a sick part of me that misses that era of cigars and going into a lounge and getting excited over a Camacho, because that's so lost now with all these smaller brands that people are so obsessed with finding the new brand and finding the new blend, and it's fun. But it used to be just like you knew that like if you grabbed a Camacho or like when the Liberty series was coming out, you were so excited to get your hands on one of those. And they were so killer for back in the day. And like, you know, the landscape has just changed so much, and obviously for the better. But we've just, you know, it's almost like everything else. Coffee, craft beer, all that stuff. We've come such a long way in terms of just the quality with everything that it's awesome as a consumer.
That's awesome. Yeah, but we've commented on that several times. Like, you know, the boutiques are coming out that they have such good stuff, and there's always something new coming out that you want to try. It's hard nowadays to, you know, get into a brand that, you know, I'm just going to stick with this because it's the only thing I like. If you do that these days, you are missing out on so much. So much stuff out there. It's great. Yeah, for sure. So, has anything happened in anybody else's life here recently that they want to talk about?
Did you hear? Okay, well, background. I collect things. Right now I'm collecting trading cards. Recently, at a Dallas card show, a guy had $2 million worth of vintage baseball cards stolen. Yes, 2 million. Like Mickey Mantle rookies, just all the old stuff. And it was like, they got the guys on video. They worked as a team. They distracted everyone. And one guy came in and just swiped him up and walked out. And it got me thinking about my collection. Yes, it's just that easy. It was like, damn. But it got me thinking about my collection and things that I collect. And it made me think, what made me start collecting this stuff? So, you know, so for me, it's like 1977, Star Wars came out. Top spit out Star Wars trading cards. I started collecting. To this day, I'm still collecting. But like everybody collects something different. It made me think, what makes people attracted to what they collect? So I was wondering, what do you guys collect?
Oh, I collect a lot of weight, and I gather it right around here in the midsection. It's a pretty good collection. I mean, some of it has gotten lost over the years, but I've gained it back with other stuff. But that's mostly what I collect. Yeah, I mean, it's up and down. I mean, the value is shit. It's all gone to shit. But, literally. But
that's awesome.
For the most part, that's what I collect.
So I used to collect Magic the Gathering cards and stopped playing for a long time and sold my cards to somebody who I knew was going to use them and trade them for stuff he wanted. But recently I was back visiting family back in Tennessee, and I played a version of the game that I never played before, which is basically a 5-player game with a kit that you buy that has 5 decks pre-made in it. And I was like, man, this game is really fun. I forgot how fun this game was.
Right?
I'm going to try to avoid collecting those if I can.
That's funny.
Gibbs can attest to this. I used to collect and put together, at one point I had a sizable, still do. At one point I had a super sizable Lego collection and kept it mostly to Star Wars Lego sets. And I had the 5,000 piece Millennium Falcon. I had the big Death Star from Return of the Jedi. And I sold a good chunk of it for well more than I ever paid for it. And picked that back up. I don't do it. Well, now that I've got 2 kids, those priorities have changed a bit, but I still get Lego sets and enjoy putting them together, displaying them in the house. My oldest has picked up on that and enjoys the same. So
that's awesome.
We're back to having some super nice kits. I've still got like the original Harry Potter train, not the mechanical train that goes around the track, but the 3 or 4 car set they had. I've got the original castle that they put out.
Jeez.
They've been put together and taken apart, and they still hold value. And that's the cool thing about Legos is, even after, if you don't open it, the value skyrockets after a couple of years. If you put it together, the value still goes up. You're rarely going to find a Lego set where the value has decreased since you bought it. Yeah. Especially, if the minifigures are still looking good, because people, I don't understand it. People love minifigs.
Yeah.
I like the sets more. I mean, it's not like I play with them, but I enjoy putting the whole thing together, setting a scene and leaving it. So, I think I've got sets from the late 90s, early 2000s. So,
wow.
But I think the minifig thing started getting popular when the Lego movie came out, because you started identifying with the little figures, So I'm pretty sure that's where it started, picking up in popularity. Is like you can get the minifigures, and then you can go to like the Lego store itself and make your own customized minifigure now. So yeah, it's a big craze and people love it.
I got mine from trade shows, IT trade shows, of all things.
That's even better. But I'll go back to mine for the collection. I don't really have a collection that I've done for myself more than people have bestowed upon me, and that's Funko Pops. Somehow I've ended up with this is not a large collection. It's only like 20, maybe 30 of them. But seriously, out of all of those, I think I've bought 2. All the other ones have been given to me. Yeah, all of them have been given to me, and it's just, and it's stuff I like, so it's crazy. So, I love Ted Lasso, so I have all the characters from Ted Lasso. I bought none of them.
Nice. It's amazing. That's amazing.
I love Tony Soprano. I love Tony Soprano. My brother-in-law got me Tony Soprano. It's crazy. So people just give them to me, and I love every one of them. I display them all in my office, but it's just one of those things. It's a collection that I have that I didn't even start, but I like it now.
That is so cool.
Zach was going to talk about his booze collection, but,
so we're in the process of preparing for a move, and we drank almost all of the whiskey collection. So
as long as you still have the infinity bottle.
The infinity bottle still exists, and the last time I had it, it was fucking awesome. But yeah, I'm down to like just a couple of bottles of whiskey and the infinity bottle, a couple of bottles of gin, a few things, but seriously diminished over the years. I've got a friend who's a big collector, and he constantly sends me pictures of like the new deliciousness he's got, and looking forward to being close enough that I can go enjoy whiskey with him.
That's awesome.
But right now, I don't collect much of anything. Just as I've gotten older, I stopped collecting all the things. When I was a kid, I had baseball cards when I played baseball, and Magic cards, like I said, and I guess I've kind of always collected pocket knives, but that's mostly like it's a joy to use it when it's time to cut something with it, kind of stuff.
Cutting letters, things, people.
No, cutting people is illegal.
It's okay, Zach. We won't tell him. Okay.
Oh.
I lost all mine in a fishing accident.
So we don't want to put you on the spot. How about you, Steven? You have any secret little collections you got going on?
You know what I do? I have. No, what I do is over COVID, I don't know why this came about or how this came about, but I started collecting skate decks. And whether it be an artist issued skate decks or whether it be like vintage skate decks or anything, and it started getting a little obsessive, and it was strange because I'm what you would call a poser because I've never stood on a skateboard before in my life. The extent of my growing up was watching Tony Hawk, and like all of us did, right? I mean, like he was a hero growing up. So watching Tony Hawk, playing the video games, all that stuff. And so I would actually start collecting. I would go on eBay and I would collect these skate decks. And right now I've got, oh my gosh, man, it's not a lot in terms of quantity. I want to say it's about 30, but what I do have is just like the rarest of the rare, like some of this stuff they didn't make more than 30, 40 boards of, or some of it was literally artist drawn on that is a prototype that never made it to market. Just like crazy stuff that I've got. And it's cool. I just wish I had a place to better display it. One day, hopefully when I get a man cave, I'll be able to put that up somewhere and it's pretty cool. Or I'm pretty poor, so like I could probably sell it for money, quite frankly. That's probably the smartest move, the most responsible move, and not a 34-year-old just having skate decks. But
so
why would
you ever have somebody come over to your house and they're like looking at your skate decks? You're like, yeah, this one's awesome. This one's signed, and this one's like, this is worth a lot of money, and this one is like, cool. You want to go hit the high pack? And you're like, oh no, dude.
Yeah.
Can't do that shit.
I was like, oh man, they're always like, man, I'll never forget going into a shop. They had this really rare board release, and I went in there like when it opened, and I wanted it was like one of those that had a limit, so I went to go buy one of them, and I told this kid behind me, he was probably 16 years old. And he was like, oh man, you like skating? And I was like, no, actually. I'm like, I literally am a collector. As super lame as that is to a 16-year-old kid, trust me, a 16-year-old kid, if there's one way to be like, hey, I'm a loser, like that's one way to do it. And he's like, man, why don't you just get on it and skate? And I was like, I really wish you knew the difference between what my body would do if it hit the cement. Like I don't bounce like a rubber band and like roll up and go like, huh, and then you go on. Like there is devastating effects. Like my health insurance does not cover what's going to go down when I hit the concrete. Like I'm no longer at that stage. It was so funny because he meant it so earnestly too. He's like, man, just get on that thing and ride. And I was like, I really wish it was that simple. I really do.
Honestly, one time I was on a skateboard, I broke a wrist, and that was enough. That was it for me.
There you go.
See, that's all I need to hear. That's all I need to hear.
I never broke anything on a skateboard, but I've definitely injured myself every time I've gotten on one. Skin knees or road rash or whatever. Not talented in that way.
Not nice.
Or not determined in that way, I guess, because you gotta fall down before you learn to kickflip, I guess.
So what you need to do from now on, if anybody asks you about your skate decks and stuff, like, no, I'm just really into wood. My nickname is Plywood, for God's sake.
Plywood? Does it make sense to you guys? I mean, I pretty much like, come on, give me a break.
I'm just really into wood.
Yeah. It is so funny though, man, because again, like growing up watching Tony Hawk, doing all that stuff, and man, I would love to. There's a weird middle-aged part of me that would love to just get on a skateboard and be like, man, I'm just going for it. But again, 100%, it would end up with me in a hospital somewhere, and I'd be like, what? And then, how embarrassing would that be, by the way, as a 34-year-old, to be like, can you explain to us what happened? And you're like, I was trying to do an ollie over a curb. I couldn't. And they'd be like, wow, seriously. Do you have who's your contact information? Do you have a girlfriend? Like, clearly not. I'm a 34-year-old man doing an ollie over a curb. I clearly have nothing going on for me.
Fair. Totally fair.
No. In that situation, you just make up whatever you can.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, I do.
Out of nowhere.
It came out of nowhere. Yeah. I didn't know. Like, you didn't know what you were ollieing over? I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right.
I had to jump off the board to save a baby from getting hit by a bus.
The typical story. Yep. Little puppies, babies. Yep, always. Hey, Andy, that's so funny that you were saying that about the, going back to what you were saying about the Legos. I don't know if this is true or not, and you would be a lot more educated on this. Is it true that right now is an incredibly high market, like black value item? Like, I've heard that about Legos. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, I don't know black market values, but I do know that. So recently, keeping in mind this will air in a couple, a month maybe, but recently, a Lego shop in Seattle, both of the owners were arrested. There were people stealing high-end Legos from Target, Walmart, pick your big box store, taking them to this particular B&M and reselling them for cash. And they were making all kinds of bank. They stole $400 or $500 plus, and turned around in cash and had made hand over fist cash, because I know there's a Lego set in my office I think it's $100 that I could turn around. I could go to what's the Lego stop down from you kids? There's a Lego shop, Atlanta Brick. I could go there and probably resell it for twice, if not maybe 3 times that in cash. Wow. So there's a hell of a market for it, be it regular or black. They're worth, like I said earlier, they're an investment at this point. They don't lose value. They don't do anything to gain value. And on a black market, hey, I've got this set. There's some that I would probably look for if I had that kind of bank. But I don't have that kind of bank because I got 2 kids.
Yeah, you have priorities.
And I live in Louisiana.
Oh, come on. Keeping the lights on, new Death Star. Keeping the lights on, new Death Star.
New Death Star. I got candles.
Daddy, why don't we have electricity?
Shut up and read your book in the dark like a real man.
Right.
Do you see this Death Star? Do you?
Do you see? I know it's dark, but you can still see it.
You can still see the outline of it. Daytime.
If you keep this up, you're going to end up a 34-year-old trying to ollie a curve. Is that who you want to be?
That's right.
You want to? We're trying to put you on the right track. Let's go.
Air conditioning. No, you said it wrong, Gibbs. It's air conditioning, Death Star. Air conditioning, air conditioning.
Air conditioning.
Sorry.
Air conditioning
was, We faced that last summer. It was brutal. Oof.
I don't care if we got to live off ramen and just the broth from the ramen that we save. I don't even give a shit. We're having air conditioning.
We're having air conditioning. Yep.
Oh. Hey, Zach. Real quick, going back to what you were saying about the whiskey, and I know you'll appreciate this because I'm super jealous of my buddy Mark, whose job is he runs a podcast called Whiskey Cast, and all he does for a living, I'm not downplaying what he's doing, I'm just saying this is what he does for a living. He travels around and he tries whiskeys from all over the world, and he will try some of the rarest stuff, and he'll message me and be like, oh man, I'm having this, I'm like, don't tell me this, like, this is the most incredible thing. Every once in a while we'll be in the same town, he'll shoot me a message and be like, hey man, where are you at right now? And he did this when I was out west in Wyoming, and he goes, hey man, where are you at? And so I'm in Riverton right now. He goes, man, I'll name a bar where we can meet up. So I was like, meet up at this place called Bar 10. Okay, done. 20 minutes later, he rolls up in this, like, I'm not making this up, this, like, tiny Prius. And I'm like, what is going on? He's like, it's just some rental. He pops the back trunk, and it's all these little black suitcases with vials, and they have tape on them, and they've got marked what they are. It's all this stuff that hasn't even been released yet from Glenmorangie, all these places that is just incredible. He had stuff that literally was only 112 bottles made that would go to like the New York Times editor and like this celebrity or whatever. And he'd be like, do you want to try some of this stuff? I'm like, of course I want to try some of this stuff. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I want to try some of this stuff. So he literally had like, the Glencairn glasses and everything. And he had this like little tiny like thing where he would like pour it over and we would try some of these whiskeys that were, I mean, I'm talking, I was not worthy of even trying these whatsoever, and his palate is above and beyond. And it was so incredible to be like, I can't believe that, like, if I saw this Prius dinking down the street, that it has suitcases full of the rarest whiskeys that you could ever come across, and he's just like dropping by, like, just like, hey, you want to give this a shot? Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think it's funny that you went to a bar to have a drink. and he's sitting there outside the back of the Prius, and y'all just sitting there drinking out of the Prius.
We did. Honest to God, I was like, we were sitting out in the front of the bar with the thing popped up, and he's sitting there. We were pouring stuff on the street, and I'm like, either we look like the most juvenile delinquent, like what is going on here? Like right in front of this bar, and he's like, oh, you got to try this stuff. And one of them, he goes, man, you got to try this and take a guess as to what it is. I'm like, my taste isn't going to be good enough to know. I know what I like. I'm not going to know what it is necessarily. He goes, man, it's going to blow you away. Sure enough, to this day, it's top 3 of anything I've ever had in my entire life. And it was the very first cask release of Wyoming whiskey that came out. And they made, that's the one I was referring to, it was 112 bottles that were made. It was so rare to get a hold of, and he had a vial of it, and he was gifted one of the bottles. And at the time, the only other person that had it was the New York Times editor. And so I tried it, and I said, man, I have no idea. And he goes, this is Wyoming whiskey. He goes, this is how good whiskey is right now, even here. This is how far we've come. He goes, and I've reviewed thousands and thousands of whiskeys, and he said that to him, it would be in his top 10 of all time. And it was so out of this world, man. I can't even begin to describe the nuances, again, that I was able to taste. Not like, I'm not some expert taster, but like to my ability, I remember being like, this is out of this world. And yeah, man, it was just so cool, and I'm so jealous of him every time I see him. And he's like, I'm over in Scotland, interviewing this distiller, and I was like, oh, Zach, that's right up your alley, man. Like, if I ever get a hold of something, I'll send it to you. I'm dead serious.
It'll be easy.
Definitely for that.
Son of a bitch!
Oh yeah, no. I'll send it to all. Yeah, what the?
You're fired.
All of us?
You're fired, Steve. That's it.
Yeah,
oh my
God.
Man off. He's fired.
Look,
I can't believe
Zach's
this is
my
the last
favorite.
time. This is the last time you guys are having me on this podcast. I understand. I get it. Listen, I'm freezing up. I'm overheating.
The friend I was talking about. Yeah,
he just loves
the friend that
wood. He loves Zach. Whatever.
The friend I was talking about, who's got a pretty awesome collection, Levi. He's like, I was in town a while back, and he brought me a couple little like sample vials of like some interesting things he had. He's part of some whiskey groups, and they buy rare stuff, and he had like a cask strength Jack Daniels, and I've kind of always been a Jack Daniels fan, regardless of how they're viewed in the whiskey world as being kind of not that interesting. But he had a Jack Daniels that was cask strength, and it was 151 proof.
Wow.
And it was
that's hot.
It was serious, but it was. And I like sent him back tasting notes, like what I got out of it, and I was like, it tastes like fire and brimstone and Jack Daniels a little bit. And it was like, it was awesome though. Like if I ever got a chance to get a bottle of that, I would definitely consider it. It was very special for Jack Daniels, which is generally kind of a consumer grade.
Well, to your point, Zach, that's better notes than I could have gave him. It was like, what I get out of it is drunk. That's what I got.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, it was a small amount, even for 151 proof. It was, or maybe 52. Now that I'm thinking of it, it was enough to be like your drink for the evening at like 2 or 3 ounces. It was awesome.
Wow.
But he's really into high proof stuff, which I kind of go back and forth on. Sometimes I'll hit a high proof and be like, "Whoa, this is amazing." But sometimes it overpowers the whiskey, and I kind of lose track of all the rest of the taste, and it tastes hot, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, my cigar went out, but there's not much left.
Break out the pick.
Yeah,
Break out the pick.
Speaking of cards, I don't know if you guys can see this. That is what I'm posting tonight. And right there in the corner, you can see it says 1 of 1.
Damn.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a break I got into, and just random chose Han Solo, and there it was.
That's cool.
Boom. Make it bank.
When you get lucked out like that, I mean, I don't blame you right at all. 1 of 1, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's the first time anything like that's ever happened to me. And I've gotten numbers before, but just a 1 of 1 first.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's awesome.
So you're going to resell that?
Eventually, yes. I want to send it off to grading. I actually want to find it where they're grading on site, so I don't have to put it in the mail, and I'll pay the extra.
Because, you know, United States Postal Service sucks.
Did I say that loud? But yeah.
I mean,
You don't have to. I'll say it for you.
But yeah, so eventually I will end up selling it.
that's cool. Do you sell a lot of cards, or do you mostly just hang on to them?
Right now I'm just hanging on to them. I'm trying to go through what I have, so I know what I can sell, and then I'm going to start selling them. I'll end up going to like trade nights and stuff and finding people who want to buy them and sell them off. And
Right on.
You got to put the art back
See how
down.
Steven is.
Do you guys hear me at all?
Back? And yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you actually hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Yeah,
No,
this
we're just really good at reading lips.
we're just sitting here, and oh my gosh, man! I'm not joking. This has been so much fun, guys. I really appreciate you guys inviting me on, despite all the overheating and the sitting in the car.
I mean, you'll never be forgiven about sitting in the car, but the technical difficulties plagues us.
I don't
Well,
know. We've had issues. We fixed them and had other issues and fixed those too. You know.
Yeah.
Let me tell you real quick, though. I'm dead serious when I say this. The thing that I love about what you guys are doing is that when you go into a cigar lounge, the camaraderie and everything, this is what it's all about. It doesn't have to be this super polished thing. It doesn't have to be this whatever. Like, this is what it's about. This is why we're actually so drawn towards cigars, is because of the camaraderie and the brotherhood that comes along with it. This is what it's about, man. And you guys have really nailed that so well. You guys are like interjecting some educational stuff, but it's fun and it feels like that you're with a friend group, and that's what it's all about, man. So you guys are doing awesome stuff, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
No.
We like to have the educational part in there, just so if you do have that question, and you don't want to ask, somebody who's been doing this for ever, and you know that they are an aficionado and they're, really into it. Not that we aren't into it. We are into cigar smoking, but we want to be that buddy that you can rely on to ask the question and not feel, put down or, ridiculed because you asked what you think might be a stupid question. It's something that you have a question about. We want to answer it to the best of our ability,
The approachability is
opinion.
legitimately everything. Yeah, approachability. I mean, it's like when there was many years ago. So, actually, Andy might recall this. I started a YouTube thing where I only ever uploaded a few videos, and it was just a educational thing on. One of them was on the tasting wheel of what you might be able to expect from any given cigar, whether it be floral, whether it be some rich, earthy elements, whether it be nutty or whatever the case may be. And I thought, if this helps one person, it's worth me uploading it. Truly, like, I just want to help one person who might be too shy to ask. I don't know. And that video ended up having like 15,000 views, and the amount of people who were like, "Thank you so much." Like, I always felt embarrassed. There's something about the cigar industry that we've gotten a lot better about it, but it used to be people are so scared to ask questions. Like, if I were to go into a lounge, or if I were to go into a shop and I don't know what I'm talking about, they almost feel like they're going to get laughed out. And the reality is that's not true at all. Like, we want to educate, we want them to know, we want them to ask the questions. Like, it's not about being an expert. It's not about that. We just want to find what you enjoy and join the brotherhood. That's what cigar smoking is all about, man.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I don't know
Absolutely.
that if I ran into Mike Herklots at, Nat Sherman in Manhattan, that I'm going to stop him and go, "Hey, could you help me out with this?" I would just feel a little weird.
Yeah.
Just saying.
There
Weird
is
for
a
you,
little bit of
probably
that.
not for them.
Probably not. But yeah.
And Andy, maybe you
I still-
remember this. Oh, I'm so sorry, Gibbs. Go ahead.
No, I'm good.
I apologize. No, what I was going to say is, Andy, the very first lounge I ever went to was the old Havana cigar shop in Rome, Georgia. It was right outside Berry College. And when I went in there for the very first time, I'd asked them, I said, I don't know anything about cigars. What would you recommend for someone who's never smoked? I don't know the first thing about smoking. And they gave me something that was mild, medium-bodied, and full-bodied. They said, save the wrapper of the one that you enjoy. Come on back. And that was such an incredible advice. They were so welcoming, and they were so, and I still think about to this day how much that set the tone for how much the accessibility that I viewed the cigar industry as to having. And it wasn't like the moment that got off my chest and I wasn't laughed out of a cigar lounge, I was like, wait a second, these guys aren't about that at all. And none of us are. And that's the thing that's so funny is like, you just got to get over that hurdle. Go into a lounge, ask the questions. They want to help you. I promise you they want to help you. And it's so fun. So this way, and what you guys are doing at the Leaf Cutters, and that people can tune in and they can kind of be quiet and they can just watch, and it helps. It helps a lot. It's personalities that they can get used to. It's all that kind of stuff. So you guys do an awesome job of that, and I really appreciate that.
Thanks, Steve. That's the nicest thing you said about me in 20 years.
No, I was talking to Gibbs. I wasn't talking about you. I wasn't.
Yeah, okay. I still talk. I mean, I still go back to people that I've known in this industry for 20 plus years and ask questions like, hey, what are your thoughts on this? And what's something that's along this cigar line that you don't think I may know anything about? And they still come back with, well, you're an idiot. But other than that, try this. You're going to like it. Right. And why do you still have my phone number? Quit calling.
Right.
I thought I had blocked this number. It's the dreaded 470 brand new Atlanta number. See, it all comes full circle. You're like, what? Like, this isn't a 404. This person didn't wish me a happy 404 day.
That's right. That's okay. I still don't answer phone numbers that, end in 470 or 318 because I don't know people from Louisiana. Why are they calling me?
That is the thing that I enjoy about having a non-resident area code living in Louisiana is like if it's a 318 area code, I'm pretty sure it's somebody I'm expecting a call from. If it's my 865 number that's calling and they're not in my contacts, there's a good chance that I don't need to talk to them.
Right?
Yep. I agree with that wholeheartedly. So, Zach, you done any riding lately?
No, been too busy trying to set up for a move. But when we were in Tennessee visiting family and making a plan for the move, I was seeing all the motorcycles, and I'm like, man, I wish I brought a motorcycle so bad, because the roads right there are great. Like, you take any back road, and you've got a great, like, curvy road with shade. And
With a view, yeah.
Yeah. Louisiana's, they got a lot of straight roads, and not a lot of trees right next to the road. No hills. Yeah. I did hook up with a group locally a couple of years ago and ride with them a bit, and they were a bit crazy for me. They were sport bike guys, and I have a naked sport bike, so it's sporty but not like as sporty. And I was riding with people that had just gotten the bike like maybe that year, and I'm like, wow, you are lacking some skills there, boy.
That's dangerous.
It is dangerous, and it's in a sport bike is really confidence inspiring because it's so quick, and you forget that when you go really fast, you have to have time to brake, and I wasn't confident in their braking abilities.
Yeah, especially in Louisiana where the speed bumps are alligators.
Yeah.
And potholes. And potholes.
And potholes.
Lots of potholes.
And potholes. Potholes that will swallow a motorcycle.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, my wife rides too, and she used to ride her bike to work, and there were a couple places on her route to where she worked that if you took the wrong part of the lane, there's like a seam, because a lot of the roads here are concrete, not asphalt, and there's enough of a gap in that seam some places where you could lose your front tire and then flip over yourself. So
Yeah.
it was a little sketchy.
Where y'all at with them cigars? 'Cause it looks like Zach's done.
I'm pretty
Zach's
much done.
been done.
I've been trying to debate whether or not I can relight this and get anything good out of it, but it's pretty much done. I'm gonna have to say it was hot when it was lit.
It's got scorched mustache a little bit.
Not quite, close. Yeah, I'm ready to review whenever you guys.
Okay,
Sure,
we can do
Go
that.
for it. Gibbs, you wanna go?
So
Kick it off.
yeah, I'll go. So for mine, I really enjoyed the cigar. I do have a couple of little construction issues that continued to plague me. I had to relight it several times, which I'm surprised, but yeah, I'm gonna have to knock it for a couple of construction issues. But that aside, the cigar has been great to me. It's tasted good. It's been consistent throughout the whole thing. I like the flavor of it. Again, I can't get exactly what taste profile out of it, but it's one that I would happily have in my cigar box whenever I'm ready to smoke it. I'd definitely go to it. And it's one I would pick up in the store if I saw it. I'd be like, hey, let me grab one of those too, because I know it's going to be a good smoke. So for the rating on this one, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. So it's getting pretty high rating. It's a good cigar. It's Drew Estates. They don't really put out crap, in my opinion.
Yep.
They put out pretty solid cigars, and I like it.
Oh, it's my turn, huh?
Yes, sir.
I didn't have any real construction issues. I had to touch it up like once throughout the episode. Part of that I'll blame on the fact that I got a cloud full of mist just kind of rolling off the back patio here because it's 1,000 fucking degrees. And fans blowing because it's the only way I'm keeping cool. But the draw has been good throughout. The flavor has been consistent. Going back to what Zach said, I recalled the pepper, or that spicy, kind of taste and flavor early on, and even probably midway. It's lost to that at this point, or I'm numb to it. Paired really well with the Ardbeg that I was drinking. Pairs well with the whatever heck this is in my circle bottle. So, yeah, I'm with Gibbs. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. It's one of those that when I see it in the shop, I'm like, oh, I don't see that on a regular basis. I'm going to grab one or two and throw it in the box and let it sit for a little bit. So, I've enjoyed the crap out of it. Robert?
I'm going to go 4. Like Gibbs. I did have to relight it a couple of times. There was a construction issue. But other than that, it did taste good all the way through. I did taste the pepper there. Yeah, it was good. I liked it.
Nice.
How about you, Steven? How's that leave us?
Oh, it's fantastic. I'm sorry. I apologize that I couldn't find the cigar that we were smoking this afternoon, so I'm going to sit this one out. Go ahead, Zach.
You can still review it. That's cool.
You still rate it?
With me at least. Yeah.
No, I'm not joking when I say that. Like, if I see an Oliva Melanio, I don't ever hesitate to ever pick one up. In the sense that, like, I know that it's going to be quality through and through. It's going to be complex. It's going to be really. There's something about a medium-bodied cigar that really strikes a good chord with me, where you don't have to have this massive meal leading up. You know what I mean? Like, I love Roma Craft. It's probably my favorite maker of all of them. But if you guys have ever smoked one, other than the intemperance, you gotta eat a meal and you gotta be hydrated before going into one. Like, you can't just go into one on an empty stomach. Like, that's just not something you have to do. So it's good to like have those cigars that are options that you can still get this rich, tasty flavor, complex, and it's not gonna totally knock you out. And it's so good. And Oliva always comes through with all that. Whether it's the V, whether it's the G, the O. The O is more spicy, the G is more rich. The V is probably everyone's most go-to, but man, the V Maduro Milanio is just like, gosh, it is just such an incredible smoke, and you'll never ever pick one up and be like, well, that was a mistake. It's like it just doesn't happen. No,
there's not too many Olivas that you pick up as a mistake.
100%.
Yeah. Absolutely. I always pick up Olivas like sample packs because they go on sale for some reason and they end up being like a crazy good deal. And I'm like, oh, I've got a whole bunch of Olivas, and I'm never disappointed with them. They're good cigars.
100%.
Yeah. So this one, like I said, I think it's the first one of these I've ever had, and it was very good. I think the only like particular flavor I could like give a name to was probably that spice I was talking about, kind of a chili, not a pepper. But that's the thing I like about a cigar. I like a little peppery or spicy. And I did have to relight it, but I think that's because I left it for too long because I was smoking it so fast. And I had that little burn issue at the beginning, but I'm not going to knock it for that. I think that was just a fluke, and I'm going to give it a 4 also because it was solid. I definitely am going to pick up another one of these next time I see one.
Yeah, agreed. And on that note, I just want to give a shout out to all the people that have shouted us out. Honestly, in the cigar world, like Smoking Sounds. Focus Down still gives us props anytime they're having a show, and I appreciate that. We love those guys. And of course, Cigars for Beginners. Dirk is doing a great job, especially with the new festival that he's starting up in North Georgia. So, Steven, if you're near next March, Georgia's having their first North Georgia cigar festival. So,
oh man,
check it out. We're going to be there. That. It's going to be a good time, so definitely check them out. And I guess on that note, of course, Badass Penny. Oh my God, Badass Penny, the purveyor of our cigars. We got to shout her out. We love Badass Penny, and of course, Penny's Public House. Please go check her out. Check her stuff out. You can buy cigars, really, really good, hard to find cigars you can find on Penny's Public House right now, so check them out.
She's got some rare stuff that she's been hanging on to and now releasing it. It's I'm trying not to give her all my money, but I think I'm about to.
She'd appreciate she is having a construction, so spend all your money.
Go support us at construction. Yeah, you can do it with the rare stuff she has on that site right now. But sure. On that note, I think we're gonna say good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Seriously.
Yeah, thanks, Steven.
Who are you again?